Hi folks, this video is by request from some of my subscribers where I'm asked which one is better or which one should I buy, the Akai MPD or Native Instruments Maschine. Now, first thing is these two hardware are completely in a different kind of league and were both made for a specific role. The MPD first off, and that's all MPDs, beginning with the MPD 18, which only gives you the velocity pads, and then the model will go up to the MPD 24, which is similar to the MPD 26 but without the added feature of the note repeat, tap tempo and time division. And then of course you've got the MPD 26, which will have these functions. The higher model will be the MPD 32, which would have 2 additional faders, making it 8 overall, and 2 rotary knobs, 8 as well. And then you've got the added features of switches for your time division and a control bank. Now, regardless of which one you get, these are only MIDI controllers used in conjunction with your desired music software like Logic Pro, Ableton, Cubase, FL Studio, etc. Now, to give you a better understanding of what an MPD is and what it does, imagine it as an instrument that enables you to control most of the function in your music software real time. It will give you that instant access to the most commonly used controls like your play, stop and your record button. And of course you'll get some very large velocity and pressure sensitive pads to play your samples, faders and knobs to assign a specific parameter like leveling up the volume or modulating some effects. It gives you this overall human touch, feel and sense of being in control of your workflow. And then we've got the Maschine. Now the Maschine is a bit different because it's a MIDI and a hardware controller that you can control external MIDI instruments via the MIDI in and outputs at the back of the Maschine and other software as well with the provided editor application that comes with the Maschine. It comes with software integration, making it more into a workstation where 90 to 95% of your workflow is hands-on real time on the hardware without having to look at the screen. And if you are going to be looking at your computer screen, you're still going to be controlling it on the Maschine hardware. So anyone looking for something like an MPC or for bundle built-in software, then Maschine or its smaller brother Maschine Micro is for you instead of an MPD. Now the Maschine Micro of course will just be sort of like cut off of the sort of like lower side of the Maschine, so you won't get these sort of like features there. It'll just be the lower part of the Maschine. Again, the added bonus to control other hardware and software. Now I'm not saying that the MPD can't control other MIDI instruments. You can, but it does take some learning curve, and I think the MPD is best used with software. One looking to buy either one of those two shouldn't really be asking which one is better because each has its minor differences. Like on the Maschine, you can't really assign the rotary knobs as you would on the MPD, and plus you don't really have any faders. But at the same time on the MPD you can't really easily record samples or have access to a step sequencer instantly. Overall they kind of function the same, so instead you should really be asking how do you want to make beats and choose which one works better for you and your software in mind. One thing I will say, all Ableton user, I would highly recommend, I would really consider getting an MPD personally, I think, over the Maschine, because out of the box the MPD connected, works flawlessly without the need of any form of assignment. But when it comes down to the machine with Alberton, it's not as flawless and as, you know, intuitive as the MPD, and it does require some learning curve to assign or figure out some set functions. But the MPD downfall is with other DAWs, it's not so straightforward and can be time consuming to get into and cause disruption to your workflow, where most of the time you're trying to figure out how to control this or that on your software. Maschine, on the other hand, I think works best as a standalone device. It's easy to get into, so not really a huge learning curve is required to get straight into making some beats or finding your way around that hardware within minutes of use. Now I'm just going to do a few little comparison of the features that you have on both of a device. First off, we'll have a look at the buttons on the Maschine. We'll just nicely zoom in so that way I could show you a nice sort of like close-up of how the buttons will look. Now the buttons on the Maschine, they feel nice and soft, but at the same time they're kind of rubbery. So they've got this sort of like rubbery feel towards them, and that's every single button, and that's also including the pads as well on the Maschine. They all feel sort of like rubbery, and it's not the pads don't really feel comfortable to hit as well. I mean, yes, you can give them a good hard whack, but it's that rubber, it doesn't really feel as comfortable as something like the MPD pads, where, you know, you feel a lot more comfortable to really bash them in without really worrying about it. Buttons also on the MPD compared to the Maschine, where they feel rubbery one side, on the MPD they plastic, so real solid buttons. Everything on here is blooming solid. I mean, you could see there all the buttons right there on the MPD are very solid, and that goes the same for the pads as well. Now the rotary knobs on the MPD are on the fatter side. Again, plastic. They're great quality. You can take it out, so it comes out nice and easy right there. So, you know, if you wanted to customize your rotary knobs, you could do so nice and easy. And that's the same for the faders as well. Just pull that out a little, move that away. Ooh, there we go. Faders can come out again easily, can be customized the way you like it. On the Maschine, however, we don't really have any faders, so that's not really an option right there for those who like the faders. But even though the Maschine doesn't have faders, it does make use out of its master section, where majority of the features there acts as though, you know, it would be a function of a fader. The rotary knobs on the Maschine is on the thinner side compared to the ones on the MPD. Quality of both of these are excellent. Again, they do easily come out. As you can see, I'll just put it right there. It is on the thinner side. It's rubbery compared to solid plastic. Overall, the feel of the Akai's MPD feels a lot more solid than the Maschine's nice thin plastic rotary. But overall, I mean, you could sort of like change both of them, so, you know, if you don't like the way they feel, you can customize them to what suits you best. And both of those rotary knobs are endless rotary as well, so, you know, you get a full 360 in, you know, endless. Exactly the same here on the Akai as well. Now another difference between the Maschine and the MPD is, of course, the pads. Now, I'll show you a close-up. The pads on the MPD are on the lower side, so they're really low, and that's one thing that I really don't like on the MPD. Pads are very low, but they feel solid. They feel more like bricks. So solid, really smash them up, but too low in my opinion. Where if you look at the Maschine pads on the higher side, and again they feel rubbery and squishy. So this will feel squishy, and quite high, whereas the MPD is too low and they feel like bricks. Between the two, it's quite difficult. I personally like the Maschine. I've gotten used to the Machine's pad. Another thing to note is the Machine's pad is on the smaller size compared to the MPD, where you get a full stretch there on the larger size. So maybe you prefer larger pads compared to the smaller pads. Another thing to note on the Maschine, the pads, not are they velocity pads, but they're aftertouch pad. So that overall means you get a wider range of velocity, where the pads will be more sensitive and responsive, whereas the MPD will pretty much lack any form of aftertouch. Now, for anyone that doesn't understand what aftertouch is something that you would find on a keyboard. For example, you got your keyboard, and when you press the notes down to a certain level and then you press it again, that will be the aftertouch. So when you are comparing the two pads, the Maschine pad overall I think is a lot better, because you're getting sort of like pads that is similar to a keyboard. So you could get that various sort of levels of velocity and responsiveness as you would on a keyboard. Overall pads, both of them are great quality and they will last. One thing that I don't really feel great about is the overall everything here on the Maschine. I mean, they're rubber, so I don't know how long the rubberness will last. I mean, if you're a person that can look after your device, I guess this will last for you. If you're a person that's kind of clumsy or might have an accident on there, I don't see these lasting. It does attract dirt a lot more than the actual MPD. Another reason why I done the video during this sort of condition is just to demonstrate how on the MPD it's not really as illuminated as you would find it on the Maschine. And that's another great feature about the Maschine. It's nicely illuminated, so you could work in any kind of condition where there isn't much lighting. All the buttons that are available are nicely illuminated, so if you're working under a dark environment, you're still able to use the Maschine and all of its feature and easily find your way around compared to the MPD. Let's have a look. Both of these devices comes with MIDI in and outputs. They're both USB powered and both have Kensington lock. The MPD, however, does give you the option of a mains adapter as well. So the Maschine wouldn't have any form of mains adapter, where the MPD will, it gives you accessibility to have a mains adapter. That's if you like mains rather than USB. The LCD screen on the MPD is nicely sort of like nicely litted up, but it feels everything is so crammed in, so much things are crammed into the too much information are all crammed in on the LCD on the MPD. On the Maschine, it's more organized and it's a lot easier to figure out what's what with the two sort of like LCD compared to the one on the MPD. Now, both give you access to transport control on the board, and any other set of features are available straight at hand's reach. But MPD is quite limited compared to the Maschine. It's more like a workstation, so there's a lot more features, and it's got secondary controls as well for the pads, and each particular button as well. You've got 8 rotaries that gives you various sort of like effects, and you get the added feature of a step sequencer and a recording sampler as well, which the MPD would lack. Now the comparison pretty much stops here, and this is where the Maschine goes a lot further than the MPD, because the MPD lacks features of a workstation. The MPD is limited as only a MIDI drum pad that that can only function with software, whereas the Maschine is a sampler, sequencer, drum machine with bundle sounds that you can create beats on it. Yes, it does need to be connected to your computer, but it does offer a lot more, and it has better computer integration than the MPD. When you're talking about the Maschine, it has at least 21 effects that can be used as inserts on everything in your groups and master. You can create effects or multi-effects and route externally to your MIDI hardware, or it doesn't have to be MIDI, other form of hardware. It has, as I said, an advanced sequencer, step programming, or live recording that supports also live automation for effects, a nice group arranger that holds at least 64 scenes and patterns. Now the Maschine will allow you to make use of both of your hands, not only to control its software, but it allows you to compose, slice, shape, tune, resample patterns and sounds, and you're performing all of these in real time. It gives you the accessibility to tweak real time as well via the effects right there at hand's reach, and automation on everything you want to automate. With the Maschine, you could also easily browse through what you want, organize your tracks via the available groups. You could use the secondary function of the pads to copy, paste, split, nudge, quantize any sounds instantly on the hardware, and a lot more. You can use the pads to navigate software without the need of a mouse and a keyboard. Now, while even if you were to use the MPD with software like Ableton Live, which I think it was mainly made for, you're still going to find yourself 50 to 60% of the time still having to use the mouse and keyboard to gain access to certain function. But the MPD makes a great add-on with the likes of a APC. I mean, you could use your APC to personalize your overall workflow, and then you could make use out of the MPD's pads and the rotary knobs if you have something as an APC 20 that's not an APC 40 with all the rotary knobs, and more extra favors along with the added faders there. So it will make a great add-on with a combination of an APC. I mean, even if you had a Maschine as well, the Maschine, you can use it as a VST plugin as well. I mean, this is the great thing about it. You can personalize your sort of like flow right here. You could, start a clip. Then you could use your pads there. You could use your pads to play the sounds. You could use the faders on here to bring the volume down. Amp, you can modulate the effects. You could stop it, play it, and then if you wanted, you could bring the Maschine in there as a VST, and it could do a lot more as well. So, if you're an Ableton user, I would highly recommend that you do look at getting a MPD with a combination of a APC or other sort of like Akai's device. I mean, still, if you don't decide to get those, you could still get a Maschine. A Maschine will still act as a great VST plugin with those two devices as well. I think, overall, the Maschine, as I said, it's great as a standalone device, and you could do a heck of a lot more. So I'll just play about with show you what. Now I'm just going to give you a quick demo of one of the main features on a Maschine that the MPD would pretty much lack. I'm going to make use out of the sampler on the Maschine and just quickly show you how easy it is to just put a few sort of like beats together. So quite easily just press sampling. At the moment there is nothing playing on that pad, so I'll select that pad to record on. I'll check my microphone's working. 1 2 1 2. Add some effects on my mic. There we go. So I'm just gonna Once I've selected the pad, I'll press start, and that will record my sound. So let's I'll do at least 3 sort of recorded. That was a bit too quick, so let's just do that one again. Delete, select that pad, do a second pad. It's highlighted, meaning I've recorded something. So we'll go to the next pad. Bum ba bum bum ba bum. Do that one and do something else on this pad. Do 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 do. And I'll just press stop. Now I'm just gonna mute the microphone, and just gonna change my mixer over to the main mix. And I'll just play back the sounds that I've recorded. Now all you need to do is just, you could slice these up, or you could sort of pretty much adjust them the way you want to adjust them. So if I was to select this one and I press slice, the machine will slice it up into sort of like different octave notes. If you don't want it like that, you could take slicing off, and you could edit the note itself. I want to edit it, so I'll do audio. I'll scroll and find a starting point, and then I'll find an ending point. And I'll play the pad again. Let's just say I wanted the beginning a bit more. So you could adjust it how you want, and once you've adjusted that, you customize it. Go to the next one, do the same thing, edit it, just move it, find a good spot, play to see how it sounds, bring it in a little bit more. Adjust that one, go to the next one. Find a nice part you like. Again, this is so easy, I'm not even trying. Press that. That's adjusted the sound. I get out of sampling mode, and I've got my three pads ready with my recorded sound. Nice and easy. So if you want to make sort of like samples, it's straightforward, it's easy, it doesn't really take much effort, to be quite fairly honest. Another great feature of the machine that you would lack on something like an MPD is, again, samples to work with. If you don't want to do it like that, let's just delete what we have. So I'm going to delete all of that. Simple, just press the delete button and group, and there we go. That's nice, easily deleted. So if you want some samples, you just browse. Say you wanted something R&B, well, it gives you various sort of like kits that are available for R&B. Now what you could do is, on group A, I'll do load. So we just want to load samples. It will load samples. When you press play, it doesn't really play that samples. But say for example you want the samples to play and you just want to take out what you don't like. So let's do, let's go back to browse. We'll select group and we'll do patterns and then we'll load it again, and then we'll press play, and that there will load different sort of samples ready and kits for you. If you want to go through another kit, press next. You're sport with so many kits. You can make adjustments to it. If you wanted to mute a particular part, you can mute what you want. So you've got that option, and then you could add specific beats what you want. So these are one of the main advantages of a machine over something than an MPD. So I hope this gives you sort of like a rough idea as to how different these two hardwares are, and you can't really compare them. They're both as I said, in a different kind of league, but hopefully this video has been helpful, and I hope it's given you some form of clear idea of how the two products are different, where one is like a creative performance tool inspiring you to make professional sounds, i.e. the Maschine, while the other one allows you to gain control of an arranged performance, more like. So that's me. If you like the video, please subscribe. If you want to see other sort of like videos similar to this, just hang in there. Cheers.